It's probably time for a little update. So, the painting is pretty well in progress. I showed you the primer coats, I think, and pretty sure I did. But there's not a whole lot of marking as far as paint work on this airplane. Right, so there's the yellow stripes with black border, one on each wing and one on the tail. There's the red nose cowling, and then there'll be what I'm going to mask and paint now is the anti-glare panel, which on this aircraft begins just at the red section of the cowling and extends all the way back past the cockpit, and then divided by the strake. So the ends of the points are, I want to say, just about here. So this side will come back to a point and then wrap and go around and back out toward the nose. So that'll be a mess. But what I was going to do now is just pull and check and see how the stripes turned out. Put a little tape off on those, because all the remaining paint application is localized. Sorry, I'm getting never fails. Turn on the camera, start getting massages on the phone. So because all the remaining paintwork is just that it's localized, I can mask off the entire airplane and not have to worry about these. Now, I do still need to apply the black striping. What is going on? This is coming off now? Okay. Alright, well, we'll peel that off. Didn't expect that to wrap all the way around. That's alright. Any way you want to do. So, oh boy, let's check this side while we're peeling the tape off of it. That one's that. Good. So this Tamiya masking tape, it comes in a whole lot of different strip widths. So I don't have to do a lot of cutting anymore. So just buy 3/4 and 1.5 inch tape and just cut my own strips. Oh, there we go. Yeah, it's not Christmas until I yell the F word. Anyway, so you can buy it in various widths, and so that's good for me. I don't have to slice it up anymore. At least not very often. So it's all right if there's a little bit of a reveal between the undercoat and the yellow. I don't know if you can see that here, but because these are getting a black stripe on either side, it's all right if it's not, perfectly to the line. You can see better there. You see there's just a slight reveal of the primer undercoat, but that's, like I said, it's fine. It's fine, because there'll be a black stripe to cover that. Right, so what I'm going to do for the black striping on this, I got two options. One, I could use decal film and just solid black decal film and cut it into strips and lay it on there. Or I can use my acrylic paint to brush it on, just mask for the two straight line strips, as you would for spray paint. The beauty of using the brush is I don't have to mask the whole airplane because of the spray. I'm just going to be masking just enough in the area to to prevent my, I was a little bit afraid of this, but I'll have to see what I can do. Got a little tape residue on one side, more than the other. Actually, I got a little bit on both sides, but that's okay. I'm not going to sweat it. One of the cures I found for that and I don't think I can use it on the airplane, is car wax. I've got some old school car wax that I noticed the last time it happened on one of the truck models or whatever. So I thought, oh, put just a small amount of that on a rag, and it cleaned it right up. Now the reason I don't think I can do it here is that I still have to apply a clear coat, and with the car model I just went ahead and used the wax all over it, and polished it up with that, and didn't use a clear coat. But because of the decals and stuff that go onto an airplane model like this one, I'm gonna have to I can't really use that. I guess I left my X-Acto outside, so I'm gonna have to figure out a new way, I guess, to try and rub some of that off of there. I can try toothpaste, since that's essentially the same coarseness that you might find in the average car wax. Let's see. Oh, you know what I can do? I just take a blade and do it. I don't need a handle. Let's see if we can get this out of here. There she goes. I'm going to keep it flipped this way because I got to be careful pulling this off alongside of the pylon. You can see I've got a little bit of a mess here, and I don't know what caused it, but I think I can just trim that away with a blade and be okay. That's my story. Until it fails, we're going to stick with it. Let's see. Let's test the guy's theory. See if I can't just trim that a bit. And it doesn't look like it wants to comply the way I'd hoped. So what I'll probably do instead is approach this area with a little bit more white glue. See if I can't get that to lie down. Looks like it wants to. I don't know. Sometimes things happen that don't, they're just random, is what I'm trying to say. And when random stuff happens, there's really no prescribed way to deal with it. You got to figure something out. Well, that looks like it kind of wanted to lie down there. So what I'm going to do is just hit it with another bead of the same adhesive and just brush it in a little bit. Let's see if I've got a good brush here somewhere. Oh, at least one of these has to be good. I'm a little hard on my brush. I go through them, and sometimes I forget to do proper cleanup or whatnot, and it comes around and bites me. This would be good if I could add just a touch of water to it. Let's take some off. Work it in here. The stuff should dry clear. So while it might look a mess while I'm trying to pin that down, I'll just wet my finger, take care of some of it, come back along here and pull it up again, press it onto the glue area, and drag it off again. A little bit right there. So if this works, I'll be happy. And if it doesn't, well, we'll figure out another thing. Try something else. For now, I think that might hold it up. Might fix the thing. Might solve that issue. I don't know. I think it looks better than it did. We'll go with that. Alright, so we've got the tape off of that. Let me get this out of the way before I break it somehow. Get paint on it or glue or some other catastrophe. Alright. So we'll flip the airplane back around and we'll get at the tail. So there you see the yellow stripes, typical of the Hun Hunter. And when we get this off, we'll take a look at the tail stripe. It's in there somewhere. See how that came across. Yep, nice and clean so far. Looks like my silver paint got a little thick on the tail. Sometimes you get a bit of a pile up along the tape line. Usually when that happens, I just ignore it. If it's real bad, you gotta get some real fine 4,000 grit sandpaper, something like that. 4,000 grit sounds good. And just kind of do a little polishing over the line. And until you don't feel any kind of a pile up of paint there, and you don't feel that paint ridge anymore. If you really want to get rid of it. And the reason you might want to do that is if you're going to clear coat the airplane, the clear coat is also going to accentuate that pile up of paint and reflect off of it in strange ways and really enhance the effect that you should have used sandpaper and polished that down. So what you want to do is get some 4,000, 3,000 grit, something really extremely fine, and polish that down, that ridge of paint where you might have had your buildup, you know, of your top coat. Okay, so if you're wondering, you know, why did I put the yellow down first and then the silver? Well, you know, it could have gone either way. I could have painted the airplane silver and then come back and gone over the top with the tape and the masking and everything. But I don't really like masking onto silver. You know, I did it for the nose. You know, the red went on after the silver paint was applied. Now for this silver I used AS12 bare metal silver from Tamiya. And yes, I'm a rattle can guy. The red is this real bright, it's called pure red. It's a really light and bright red. So to get the darker effect, the more of a blood red effect, I put an undercoat first of flat black. So you mask everything for the red, but then spray black first, let that cure real good, and then come over the top with your red, and that black undercoat will darken that red pretty significantly. I was afraid it might be too dark, but you know, a couple of coats of red on it, and it has that blood red effect, which I like. Now, and every time I paint yellow onto an airplane, I don't use high yellow, lemon yellow, plain yellow. I use camel yellow, and that's because it's a nice deep and kind of orangey yellow, not orangey yellow, but to me it's just a much better, richer yellow. The other ones come across just looking like plastic to me, but when I paint this stuff on, I think it just has a much better effect. Now the exception was the trainer, the Stearman PT-17. That's a navy trainer, so I use the navy yellow color for that. But all of the other aircraft or cars or trucks or whatever it is that I build, and it's got yellow on it, I try to use this yellow unless it's just not appropriate at all. Because you can see how it pops out. I mean, it's just night and day. And if I used a typical yellow here, it just wouldn't have this effect. It just wouldn't look this good. So that's why I use that. And then why didn't I just buy, you know, a can of a different shade of red? They make, I don't know, 65 shades of red paint. I probably could have found one. This is what I had on the shelf, and I didn't want to buy another can. This stuff's getting so expensive. Buying just 2 cans of the bare metal for the project, this can of yellow and a can of black. Oh, and I got this. I couldn't find a good interior green color in a spray, and I needed to spray the canopy so that the interior green would show. Let's see, here's the canopy. I don't know if I already did this on a different video, but you can see that color comes through the inside when you put it down as the first coat, and then you spray the top coat, you know, the aircraft color over the top, and you get, you know, you get what you want. You get the interior color to look like the interior, and the exterior color to look like the exterior. That's the fun part of spraying clear parts like that. Right, so I needed that color. So just a handful of paints, and you know, and I'm already over $60, and I just got home and I said, oh, this is the only red I've got. So I thought, well, I'll try the black undercoat trick, and I think it worked really good, real good. I think it worked real good. So panel lines have to go on. Now, some might say, well, how do you know, if you're going to paint it, shouldn't you put the panel lines so it tells you where to paint? Or should you paint so it tells you where to put your panel lines? And you know, the answer is no, or I guess yes, which means you could do it either way. I like to get the paint on first, and that's because the panel lines, for the most part, you know, they go right over these different paint markings. They go right through them. You know, if you draw your panel lines and then spray, you're going to be covering and then have to come back and reconnect all the lines. And no, we don't do that. I mean, it's nice to have frame of reference, but what I do for frame of reference is I'll take a line of skinny tape, let's say something like a trim tape like this, and I'll just run a line down the center line of the top, and down the center line of the side of the fuselage, and down the center line of the underside, and then I'll find the center of the wing, and we'll go